when he lines it up with the word, I'm going to be one that'll tell you I'm doing what pastor is saying. I'm talking like pastor talking. I'm thinking like pastor thinking. Come on, somebody. As long as pastor talking word, I'm going to talk like pastor. If pastor thinking word, I'm gonna train my mind to think like my pastor, to have the mind of Christ. Though I'm in some adversity, I'm done with all of the complaining and crying.
Thank you, Jesus. Hey, and let God. You gotta and let God. Don't worry about it. And let God. Cast your burden and let God. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Don't worry about it. You gotta let him do it. Don't cry about it. You gotta let him do it. While you're staying up all night. While you're worried about it, you can't work it out. Let God do it. Let God do it.
Psalm 94, verse number 12, and notice verse number 13. Psalm 94, looking at verse number 12 and verse number 13. Notice what the psalmist said. Blessed is the man whom you instruct, O Lord, and teach out of your law. Blessed is the man who has a good job. Didn't say that. Didn't say that. Blessed is the man that's married. Didn't say that. Oh, y'all are not. Blessed is the man with a lot of money. Didn't say that either. But it did say, blessed is the man whom you instruct, O Lord, and teach out of your law, that you may give him rest from the days of adversity. Oh, I can shout off this. Until the pit is dug for the wicked. So the blessed man is experiencing adversity, but because God is instructing him or her, they're resting. While they're resting, God preparing a hole for the wicked or the person who was bothering his people. All the subject simple. Look at somebody and ask them, do you know how blessed you are? You can be seated. Do you know how blessed? It's still ringing in me. Ask another person, do you know how blessed you are? The psalmist tells us one characteristic or trait of a blessed man. Says that a blessed man or blessed person is someone whom God or the Lord instructs. Someone whom the Lord teaches out of his law or from his word. The blessed person is not exempt from trouble or adversity because the psalmist talks about it within the two passages. He says that the Lord will give rest to a blessed man. He doesn't have to give rest by removing the adversity. That's not the only way God can bless a person whom he teaches or instructs. God can give a blessed person rest in the midst of adversity by giving to this person divine instructions. See, whenever you going through, yet God is yet still giving you instructions, understand how blessed you are. Because there are a whole lot of folk going through trouble, through adversity, and they are without divine instructions. I've gone through a lot of things in my life, some that I caused upon myself. But then when God began to give me divine instructions, as I obeyed God, he taught me how to deal with the adversity. See, some of us, that's what God is doing as you're in something. He's teaching you how to handle what it is that you're going through. See, God wants you to handle the trouble, not allow the trouble to turn you any which way but loose. And if that is to happen, we have to allow God to teach us out of his law or out of his word. Because notice, I'm blessed when the Lord, or I allow the Lord to instruct me. Because when I do, the Bible says in verse 13 that the Lord will give me rest in the days of adversity. Look at somebody and say, God knows how to bless you in the midst of your adversity. Tell that to one more person if you don't mind. Tell them God knows how to bless you in the midst of your adversity. There are some witnesses this morning. Yeah, you're going through something, but in all that you've been going through, God has still been blessing you. He's still been helping you. He's still been talking to you. He's still been allowing you to feel his presence so that you'll know that he'll never leave, nor will he ever forsake you. And that's the reason you made up your mind this morning to come to church, not only to come, but to give God the praise. You came this morning to hear a word from God, but not only just to hear it, but somebody came to put the word into action so God will continue to help you. And I know I'm not alone. He's helping me. He's helping me. Do you hear me? God is helping me. I'm dealing with stuff, but he's right there teaching me. He's right there giving me his word so that I don't faint in the day of adversity. The proverb writer says in Proverbs 24:10, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. But not only is your strength small if you faint in the day of adversity, but if a child of God faints in the day of adversity, yes, your strength is small, but you're also despising God's instructions. Don't let me lose you, because he said, blessed is the man whom you instruct, O Lord, and teach out of your law, that you may give him rest from the days of adversity. If you're fainting in adversity, it's because you're refusing or rejecting divine instructions. I want to talk to you this morning about divine instructions. Divine instructions are simply instructions that come from God. Instructions that come from God. Understand, divine instructions come, yes, directly from God, but they also come indirectly from God. And so we have to know how to receive divine instructions. Don't just get caught up on what you're going through to the point to where you're not doing what it is that God telling you to do. Because I've never been through something to where God left me without instructions. I've never gone through anything and God was not giving me instruction. But can I back up? I've been going through plenty of time when he wasn't giving me the instruction that I wanted. Yeah, he was telling me things that I didn't necessarily want to hear, but he was also letting me know, I know you don't want to hear this, but if you'll do this, I'll give you some rest. And anytime you see saints going through adversity and they're frustrated and they're vexed, it's because they are rejecting divine instructions. And I want to deal with that this morning, because we have some, no doubt, in the house this morning. Dealing with adversity, but they're not taking heed to divine instructions. Please understand, you can come to church, shout, sing, dance, speak in tongues, and reject divine instructions. Therefore, headed to church this morning, no doubt in the middle of worship or some aspect of the service, but they're not there to receive divine instructions. Folk got a lot of motives for why they come to church. But we should primarily come to receive divine instructions. Whether God gives them directly or whether he chooses to do so indirectly. If I want rest in adversity, I have to become a person who receives divine instructions and put them into what? Action. Are y'all ready to be taught some this morning? Are you ready? Notice Proverbs, the first chapter. Notice Proverbs chapter 1. We've already danced. Proverbs 1. Yeah, we done danced. We done did a lot of dancing. Proverbs 1. Proverbs 1. Because you see, it has to come a time in your life to where you get tired of going through just for the sake of going through. Am I right about that? Get to a point to where in your walk with God, you want to mature. Want to become a person who ain't just hearing what pastor's saying. But when he lines it up with the word, I'm going to be one that'll tell you I'm doing what pastor is saying. I'm talking like pastor talking. I'm thinking like pastor thinking. Come on, somebody. As long as pastor talking word, I'm going to talk like pastor. If pastor thinking word, I'm gonna train my mind to think like my pastor, to have the mind of Christ, though I'm in some adversity. I'm done with all of the complaining and crying. Some of you need to stop crying and be obedient. But you find in the church, just like in some homes, you have disobedient children. Yeah, you do. Old folk used the word hard. And they used to say, a hard head. Some of you already know it. Some of us know it because we got it screamed at us. Some know it because you heard it getting screamed at somebody else. But there's some truth to that. It don't pay to be hard-headed. Not when what the person is saying to you is right. It don't pay to be hard-headed. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. This is really what I want you to see. But fools despise wisdom and instructions. But fools, you'll know if you're a fool listen. If you despise wisdom, if you despise instructions that are divine, like it or not, you are I did not get many folk to help me on that one. And you sitting there, you ain't calling nobody no fool except those who despise wisdom and instructions. Can we read it again? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of what? Knowledge. But fools, somebody wasn't scared to say it. Fools. When you despise divine instructions, like it or not, no matter how educated you are, no matter how anointed you claim to be, you acting like a fool. And based upon this, you have old fools and young fools. I told you it may get a little tight. And also based upon this, I have been a fool. Thank you, Deacon Man. It was lonely. I have been a fool. I have been a Food. Why? Because I despised wisdom and instructions. And it ain't good to be no fool. It's not good to be hearing what you need to do, but because you think you know it all, you don't do what you're supposed to do. Fools despise. The word despise has to do with having hatred or contempt for something. Fools hate instructions. When have you ever tried to give a fool instructions? And sometimes the fool will sit there and act like they're going to do what you say and do. And the fool will act like they just all into what you're saying. But the whole time on the inside, they're despising what you're saying. They're hating that you corrected them. Hating that you took the time to tell them, look, if you do this, God will bless you. And when you're talking to a mature person, giving you divine instruction, they don't always have to use the word, thus saith the Lord. You should know when they're talking that if I do this right here, if I just listen, it's going to work out for me. If I just do what Pastor telling me to do, God going to do something for me that he know I can't do for myself. That's all I got to do is carry out what God would have for me to do. But see, if you're a fool, you'll come to church, get a good word. See, a fool liable to come to church, get a good word, and leave mad. I was feeling good till I went to church. Pastor done rubbed me the wrong way today. He done got all up under my skin. I know he didn't call no name, but I know he was calling me a fool today. He had to be talking about me. Why you say that? Because I ain't been listening. Why are you mad when the shoe fits? Only thing to do is to change. Because just like I said, I've been a fool. I've also learned from being a fool. I've learned. Yeah, I have learned. Look at Proverbs, the 5th chapter. Look at Proverbs 5 and 23. This is where you don't want to despise divine instructions. Notice Proverbs 5 and 23. The Bible talking about a wicked person. But notice what he says in the 23rd verse. He or the wicked person shall die for lack of what? He or the wicked person shall die, being ruined, for lack of what? But listen, not because they don't have them, but lack here means you rejected them. God told you what to do, and you didn't listen to him. And now you in ruin. Now things are not working out for you. Because you didn't do what God told you to do. See, sometimes it ain't even about praying. Sometimes it ain't about praying. Sometimes it's about getting up doing what God told you to do. Sometimes it ain't about fast. You can eat this week. Just make sure this week while eating, you're doing what God told you to do. You ain't. See, because I fasted before. When really I didn't need to be fasting, I need to be being obedient. I need to do what God telling me to do. Look at this right here. The wicked will die or be in ruin for lack of instruction. I don't want that to be me. You said, but Pastor, you said a wicked person. This for a wicked person. Do you know a saint can have traits of a wicked person? You can be good and saved, but acting like somebody wicked. Acting like somebody that hadn't been taught. Again, he's talking to the wicked person, but sometimes saints have traits of wicked people. Psalm 50, come to church, get a word, excited about the word, but never carry out the word. And I'm going to tell you something. Eventually, you'll get tired of shouting and dancing over stuff that ain't happening in your life. Tell your neighbor, better here, better coming. You won't even move. But at the same time, you're despising divine instructions. Look at Psalm 50. Look at Psalm 50. Verse number 17. Let's get back to verse 16 for clarity. But to the wicked, God says, what right have you to declare my statutes or to take my covenant in your mouth, seeing you hate instruction and cast my words behind you? What right have you, says God, to the wicked person to declare my word? Seeing, understanding that you hate instructions. Look at this. He says seeing. The word seeing has to do with understanding. You declare my word, but understand how you feel about my instructions. See, sooner or later, you're going to know whether a person is applying the word or just talking the word. Sooner or later, you're going to know. At the beginning, you may not be able to discern. But after a while, you're going to know whether or not I'm applying the word, watch this, or I'm just preaching the word. Because some preachers only preach the word. They never apply what they preach. But I am a product of what I preach because I walk out what it is that I give to you. And what's happening in my life is not luck, but it's me following instructions. Same God bless me or bless you. Same God helping me or help you. But you have to do his word. If you're a product, tell somebody, I'm like my pastor, I'm a product. When you learn to obey God, he'll put you on display. He'll put you out front that folks can tell this is me, not her job. This is me, not his family. Some of us, God doing that, he blessing you. But at the same time, you doing what God tells you to do. Am I right? I said, am I right about that? Notice, he said, but to the wicked, God said, what right have you to declare my statutes? Take my covenant in your mouth. And you know a whole lot of folk talk Bible that don't even do Bible. Y'all know it's right. You know what? I made up my mind. I ain't going to be one of them folk. I'm not going to be one of them people. Give other folks advice that they don't do. I'm not going to be that kind of person. See, and God says you hate. See, you worried about what I know. See, God knows when you hate his instructions. I can give them to you and you can look at me and smile and God can just say right to me, you know he hate everything you telling him. I've given folks instruction, they puffing up. I'm like, what you puffing up about? I'm saying this to help. It'll be different if the person's saying and you know that person don't know what they. But when somebody talking from experience, got their life to back it up, and you still won't listen. Can I just be honest? When it comes to the teacher versus student, the student can't teach the teacher. Not in totality, because God sent the teacher to help the student. Help the student be better, but the student has to listen. If God sent you to refuge, I don't care what shape your life in, he sent you to this church for you to get better. That I know about refuge. How can he say it? I've seen him send too many here that needed this, that, and the other, and I saw their lives get better. But I also saw people run from the church because they don't want to do what they need to do. Yeah, I done learned to deal with both. Those who gladly receive the instruction and those who hate them. Tell your neighbor, you know you in trouble when you act like you know more than God. Imagine a person getting God's instructions and then casting them behind them. I'm going to heal your body, but I need you to do this right here. Do this for 12 days. And go right on in there and get their Tylenol. Because most of the time we cast God's instructions behind us. We are following through with what we want to do. That's when some of you ain't giving in the second offering, but you're somewhere trying to pawn something. You wouldn't have had to pawn that if you'd have did what God told you to do 6 weeks ago when he said, increase your offering. But you cast that behind you, and now you ain't got your TV. But you thought you were smarter than God. And don't dare after service ask me, did you pawn? Who he talking about pawning something? I've been somewhere before doing what I felt I needed to do. Messing myself up. And the instruction God gave me, it reminds me of Naaman in 2 Kings 5. When Naaman had leprosy.
Thank you for watching A Word for Deliverance with Pastor Leonard Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. A Place of Refuge is located at 10 Fisher Alley in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. To order today's message on CD, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the order number on the screen.